Okay, cold open.
Yeah.
Well, what'd you do this weekend?
Nothing.
It's my favorite thing.
Yeah, it's pretty good. My cat is sick.
Oh.
So I have to give him pills, and he does not like to cooperate. And I have the scars to prove it. So that's tough.
So you're a good caretaker, I'm sure.
I gave him his afternoon dose, and he was very cooperative. I put the pills in the pill pocket. I gave him the pill pocket. And I think I figured out I just have to let him eat it in his own time.
Isn't that everything?
I can't sit there and wait 5 seconds, and if he doesn't eat it, then shove it down his mouth.
Yeah.
I need to let him, you know.
It's still a little weird you have the cat on Ozempic.
Ozempic pills.
Yeah.
I've got a top secret movie in this envelope, and you don't know what it is, and I'm about to surprise you with it.
Let's do it.
We all recall the lyrics of Bruce Springsteen's best-known song, "We've got to get out while we're young, 'cause tramps like us, maybe we were born to run." Well, the people in this movie were not born to run. They were born to kill.
Fun. Ooh, you get old classics. I love it. Archival edition. The coldest killer a woman ever loved.
Released in 1947, Born to Kill, titled in the UK as Lady of Deceit, and in Australia as Deadlier Than the Male, stars Claire Trevor, Lawrence Tierney, and Walter Slezak. It was directed by Robert Wise and written by Eve Green and Richard Macaulay. Whether or not it was inspired by this film, the phrase "Born to Kill" adorns Private Joker's helmet in the Stanley Kubrick Vietnam War picture, Full Metal Jacket. What do you think?
Yeah, I could see this being good.
Lawrence Tierney, as you probably recall, still had a career when he was an old man. He was in Reservoir Dogs, most famously. He was in Tough Guys Don't Dance, which we watched on this show. He was on an episode of Seinfeld, and they all were frightened of him, and he stole a knife.
He wasn't the library cop, was he?
No. That was Philip Baker Hall.
Oh, yeah.
I've known you for a couple of decades now, and I know a few things about you. 1, I know that you're a sweetheart and you'd never hurt a fly. 2, I know that you have a very smart and neat appearance. So this gift will help you maintain that good grooming, but also might give you a little bit more of a tough guy edge.
I think I could use a tough guy edge. Okay, thank you. What a great gift. A switchblade pocket comb.
That's right.
Exactly how you described it. Tough guy. I will use this.
There you go. Well, come on over to the old leather couch like you were born to do it, and sit down with Dylan and I as we watch Born to Kill. Walter Slezak. If you know, you know. Reno, Nevada. Las Vegas' slutty little sister. Helen Brent has just gotten a divorce.
The little woman and I have been married 15 years now.
And she's been miserable the whole time.
And back then, you had to live in Reno for 6 weeks in order to do that.
She goes back to the boarding house, and she sees her pals,
Lori Palmer.
and Mrs. Kraft.
I'll have as loud as I want in my own house.
I'm drunk. Mrs. Kraft is a bit of a beer enthusiast.
Down, Romeo. He loves everybody, just like Laurie here.
She is a maniac.
She is.
Have some beer.
Would you prefer champagne? This is both. She looks like Bill the cat from the old Bloom County comic strip.
Does.
Lori's talking all about her new boyfriend.
And she has a good idea. She's gonna get her boyfriend, Sam Wilde, to really cozy up to her by flirting with another guy, Danny.
You know, you ought to put on some meat, Laurie. You're so skinny, can't grab hold of you anywhere.
You know what they say, more porterhouse for the pushin'. Helen goes to the casino to do some gambling, and she sees a man across the gambling tables, a handsome man. They just can't stop looking at each other. It's nice when you can use your gambling addiction as foreplay. She runs into Laurie with Danny. Sam sees Laurie and Danny. Oh, and a dark look comes over his face. Danny takes Laurie home. She invites him in for a little bit of canoodling. I wonder if the Walter Winchell program is on at this hour. I'd like to hear some choice gossip. And he goes into the kitchen and finds Sam there waiting. He tells Danny to beat it because Laurie's his girl.
There's no man big enough to cut me out. Maybe so. And maybe not.
Ah! Sam kills Danny. Laurie comes in, views the carnage.
Danny?
Why did you kick your own ass? And Sam kills her too. Some might even say Sam was born to kill. I don't know where I got that idea. I think I just thought of it.
Yes, you ought to be home, you little tramp.
Tramps like you, doggy, you were born to be home.
Helen just went by to say a quick goodbye to her friend Lori, and she discovers the two bodies.
She runs off. She thinks about calling the cops, but she doesn't. She gets on a train and is gonna blow out of town as fast as she can. Sam goes back to his apartment. Hi, roomie. His pal Marty is there.
Where you been?
Busy night tonight, double murder. Do they share this bed?
They're like, Lincoln did that for years. Like, they didn't have enough beds.
And he tells Marty that he just killed some people, and Marty says, "Aw, don't do that."
You can't just go around killing people whenever the notion strikes you. It's not feasible. Why isn't it?
Get on the train to San Francisco, lay low till the heat cools off.
I'll check what leads they've got. See if anybody saw you and who they are.
What a friend.
Need any dough? No.
That's why if you murdered someone, you'd come to me and I'd be like, get on a bus, buddy. Quickly.
At the train station, Sam runs into Helen. They strike up a conversation, and they decide to be train pals all the way to San Francisco.
I know what I want when I see it.
She looks like she bought a hat, threw the hat away, and wore the hat box.
They go on a ferry for some reason, and they flirt a little bit more.
Why don't you stay at the Terrace Hotel? I'm sure you can get a room there, and it's a nice, quiet place.
Got it. The Terrorist Hotel. At a diner sits a Mr. Albert Arnett. He likes to wax philosophical.
Life is very much like coffee. The aroma is always better than the actuality.
He's a roly-poly man who's got some debts to pay. But he's also a private detective, and he's about to get a case. You see, Mrs. Kraft, the beer-swilling matron of the boarding house,
She's been drinking.
Well, all I hope is you're a good detective.
Well played. She doesn't like the fact that Lori Palmer was murdered, even though no one seems to have called the police. So she hires a hungry German to investigate.
she pays him a retainer of $500. Arnett is on the case. Sam goes to visit Helen at this big fancy house. He finds her there with her fiancé.
Fred Grover, my fiancé.
Fred Groper? I guess we know how he proposed. Honk, honk.
That's bad.
And
Her foster sister, Georgia Staples, heiress to a newspaper fortune.
But I'm so hungry I can hardly stagger around.
Thanks, I don't want to barge in on a party.
Oh, it's no party. It's just the three of us.
Why don't we sit down and play some billiards?
Helen, you just missed the thing in Reno.
sit down and play billiards. Okay.
I wonder why women are so fascinated by murder. Much more so than men. You ever noticed?
No, I haven't.
Murder for me isn't so much a fascination as a casual hobby. Helen tells Georgia that she saw the dead bodies and didn't call the police. She just didn't want to get involved, for Fred's sake.
Maybe you're right. Of course I'm right.
Now shut up and stop questioning me. They all go out to a nightclub.
Will you take care of that?
Certainly, Mr. Grover. Right away.
Grover. His name is Grover. I'll take care of that, Mr. Grover. Yeah! Even though she's engaged, sparks are still flying between Helen and Sam. Sam is dancing with Georgia, and he's pumping her for information. Grover's loaded. She's loaded. Do they sleep in the same bed?
Yes.
What is with
There's not enough beds in this era, man. Everyone doubles up.
When was the big bed boom where suddenly everyone had a bed? And he makes a decision that he's going to marry Georgia. And that happens. The wedding is a lavish affair. Sam's buddy Marty Waterman, comes in to be the best man. Sucked out a little bit of your soul, honey.
One of the fillings is in it for the money.
Congratulations, Sam.
Congratulations. What?
Mwah!
Tired?
What is it, Grover? Far? Near?
Do you mind?
I'm going to get stinko. I don't care about Georgia. It's you I want, and I know you feel the same way about Fred. So stop messing around. Helen is having a lot to drink, and she has some choice words for Sam.
She clearly has a hard-on for this Sam guy. I don't know what it is about him. I think he's just super handsome and mysterious.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Meanwhile,
Mr. Arnett shows up to the wedding. He goes down to the kitchen.
I thought perhaps you'd have some use for an accomplished dishwasher or a peerless dish dryer.
No.
Please feed me, or whatever.
Come in. Can't turn a hungry man away from a wedding feast. How about a turkey leg?
just give him a turkey leg.
There's a man in the kitchen asking an awful lot of questions about Mr. Wilde.
And eating an awful lot of turkey legs. He's on his fourth. She goes down there finds out who he is.
Grace, would you mind waiting in the pantry with the others? It'll only take a few minutes.
And you, wait in the fridge with the turkey legs.
He said he was hungry.
That's why we let him in and let him do dishes.
Sam and Georgia go on their honeymoon. Helen has a drink with Marty Waterman.
You've known him a long time, haven't you?
Yeah, Sam and I lived together 5 years now.
Often we would share a pillow. Say, lady, I'm new in town. You know where I can find some male bed friends? She invites him to come and live at the house. Grover does not like this idea, but Marty moves in anyway.
When Georgia and Sam get back from their honeymoon, they're in quite a row. It's probably been happening for weeks.
Have a good trip?
Yes, wonderful.
Yes, until I spoiled it with my crazy notion.
But I work for a living at the newspaper.
Sam wants to run the paper.
Called it.
But Georgia doesn't think he's cut out to do that kind of work.
Sam doesn't like this at all.
Knock, knock, knocking on Helen's door. Sam confronts Helen in the kitchen. I couldn't sleep. I thought I'd have some warm champagne before bed.
Why this sudden passion to run the paper?
I'd be on top.
I'm a power top.
Oh, there you are.
Say, can I get in on this action? I'll just take my hot white Russian and go to bed.
You sure picked a fine time to bust in.
Let's go upstairs and play Big Spoon, Little Spoon. No, there's no Charlie Brown that lives here.
Sam, overhearing on the telephone, thinks that Helen has turned on him. He doesn't like people who's against him. He scrubs out people that are against him.
Helen meets with Arnett and attempts to bribe him to drop the case investigating Sam.
$15,000 should do it.
$10,000 in cash and $5,000 in turkey legs. She doesn't have that kind of money, but she can get it.
Your sister is very rich. So is Mr. Grover.
If Mr. Grover is so rich, then why does he work as a waiter at a restaurant where he aggravates a blue-faced man?
Yeah. And Mrs. Kraft decides, you know what? I'm going to go to San Francisco because I can't wait to know what the investigation is all about.
Marty follows Arnett to Mrs. Kraft's hotel. He's going to talk to her about the case. She's drinking beer. She looks like one of those dark crystal creatures. She's sort of like a combination of all of them in one face. After Arnett leaves, Marty knocks on the door.
What I want to talk to you about concerns Laurie Palmer.
Oh.
I want to know who killed Laurie Palmer. Was it the log lady? Was it Agent Cooper? Could be. Who knows?
Have some beer.
No, thanks. Beer makes me sleepy. I don't like it.
Me, I love it.
Yep, we know.
He feeds her a line of bull and tells her to take a taxi cab to this remote location late tonight and something will happen. She says, okay, sure, why not?
She's a beer head. Hot one. Early hot head.
She is a beer monster.
Meanwhile, okay, that's happened.
I found the client. She's at the Felton Hotel. Her name's Kraft.
Why don't you scooch on over there, cowboy? Let's me and you get cozy.
I don't know. I'm not invested in these characters. They all seem like crumb bums, if you ask me.
Crumb bumps. They're total crumb bumps. The cab takes her to a remote section of beach.
Just leaves her in the hellmouth.
The hellmouth.
What is this? It's nothing. It looks like Grapes of Wrath here.
Hi, glamour girl.
He pulls out a switchblade and attempts to kill her. Sam shows up out of nowhere. He grabs Marty. Mrs. Kraft escapes, and he kills Marty. Whoa, why would he do that? Marty's body is discovered. There's a police inquiry at the house.
How long has Mr. Waterman been living in your house, Mrs. Wilde?
An hour.
He came into my room for a few minutes about 9:30. We talked casually.
I just gave him a light peck on the cheek, and he went away. Turns out he killed Marty because he saw Marty coming out of Helen's bedroom, and he thought they were having an affair. So it was a jealous rage type situation. Helen goes to see Mrs. Kraft and threatens her. Cancel this case or else you're going to get murdered.
She's real scared and hasn't had her nightly beer.
You're the coldest iceberg of a woman I ever saw.
The coldest Hauswager. She spits on Helen and curses her.
You carry your own curse inside of you.
You're like a little smear.
All right. You'll get this back at the end of the semester.
All right, fine.
Fred shows up. He breaks off the marriage. Helen has changed, and and he doesn't want to marry her anymore.
Seems to me that since I've known you, you've become lovelier, more mentally assured.
And I don't want those qualities in a wife. Helen is so angry at Sam, now she wants him to go to jail, because he's ruined her life.
So,
She tells Georgia that Sam is a murderer.
she doesn't believe Helen. Georgia thinks...
Georgia doesn't believe him. Just sit in this chair. I hear Sam coming right now. You just take a look at what's going to happen.
They do a little, what is that called? What would you call that, Matt? A little tricksy.
A little tricksy, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little tricksy.
She tells him to run away with her. He says, sure.
While Georgia's right there in an easy chair.
I don't know anything anymore.
Open up! This is the police!
Now I gotta kill like 6 people. Everything is crumbling, and he's gotta kill somebody before this is all over. So he chases Helen throughout the house with a gun.
Bing, bang, boom, lots of shots.
The police come in and shoot him dead. Looks like it's all over. We find out in tomorrow's paper that she died from her wound. That is what happens when you get mixed up with someone who is born to kill.
And that's the best movie I've ever watched.
Born to Kill. This was a really interesting movie.
Was it?
I think it was, yeah. Throughout most of it, Helen's mind and her motivations were sort of a mystery, and they seemed to be kind of constantly changing, but not in a way that felt inconsistent to her character. You disagree?
She was interesting. I don't know. If this was the first movie I ever saw, I wouldn't watch another one.
Okay, that statement is...
No, I
is
found it
also
confusing. Why Sam is a bad man.
Women fall in love with bad men all the time.
Okay, but why?
I don't know.
That's what I think. There's a little lack of motivation on some of
okay.
these.
We're not so much seeing what her attraction to Sam is, other than just physical appearance.
Yeah, Helen, you're right. There was a depth to her. But, why Georgia like Sam? Why
Yeah.
didn't Marty like Sam? Why is he so good of a friend?
What was their relationship? He was willing to kill for Sam. Kill someone he didn't even know.
And then he goes into somebody's room for half a second and he gets killed by Sam.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's so loyal to Sam, and then Sam just kills him on a whim.
He's a bad friend, bad lover.
Yeah, he is. The movie just kind of kept me on my toes mentally. Where is this going? I don't know how this is going to resolve itself. I would have liked to known a little bit more about Sam.
Yes.
What exactly is wrong with him?
He doesn't like people monkeying around with them.
Making a monkey out of me. Or making a monkey out of me.
I guess it's your garden variety paranoia. Because paranoia makes you think that people are double-crossing you when they're actually not. And I also like the way the movie, where something will happen, and then we have to wait to find out why it happened. That's, I think, a hallmark of good screenwriting. I am very delighted, and I had no idea that the switchblade would figure so prominently in this movie. This is a very appropriate gift that I've given you.
Yes, it is. Thank you for this. And Ben, did you see how little his blades are? This would have been a lot of stabbing. Over.
Stabs one once with that tiny switchblade.
Not a lot of blood.
The fight in the kitchen between Danny and Sam was really well done. It was very violent and realistic. I liked it. Oh, Sadie. Getting friendly? Sadie the cat has made an appearance, folks.
Hi.
Another reason why it's a little unrealistic that these women are falling so much for Sam is that he's so menacing.
Well, we'll have to change all that. Because there's a lot more in my head I want to tell you.
I've never met anyone like him before.
Everything he says is an implicit threat. I can't imagine sitting and hanging out with Sam, laughing over the morning paper. You don't see it at all.
And I know they were bunk buddies or whatever, but even with Marty, too. Why are they friends?
I don't know. Maybe I'm sort of just coming around to your way of thinking a little bit about this. So, there was a lot about this movie that was sort of
unexplained,
hanging in the wind. Yeah, yes. But I was intrigued throughout, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, overall, I didn't care for it, Matt. I know you like movies, but not this one.
Born to Kill has expired, and now it is time for us to engage in a little thing we call Seen It.
And because it's Seen It, we need our Seen It beers.
Dylan is making a new tradition on this show.
Yes. It's like Mrs. Croft. I miss my friend.
Pour a little bit out for Mrs. Kraft. D. Heisey, 1014. I hate high fidelity. I can't stand Rob. His self-centered bullshit throughout the whole movie makes me sad that things work out for this total ass. Seen It.
He is a bit of an ass.
He's a bit of an ass. I watched it recently. He is obviously self-centered and shallow and emotionally immature. But I think that's kind of the point. He's supposed to be that way. The character is supposed to change throughout the movie. And I thought that he didn't. But actually, he kind of does.
He re-alphabetizes his life.
Right. Every relationship he's been in, he hasn't been fully committed to it because he's always looking for a way out. Yeah. And he knows that to make this work with, I think her name is Laura, that he has to fully commit. He's always looked at relationships in terms of what they can give him. And at the end of the movie, he knows that he has to give. Because he's making her a mixtape. He's saying, I'm putting on music that Laura likes. I'm making this for her.
Growth.
I'm not making a mixtape for me and then giving to her as a gift.
And hey, Jack Black, though, well, it got to be one of his earliest films, right?
Jack Black is one of those guys who I think I'm sort of over. Every time I see him, I'm like, okay, yeah, you're doing that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Oh, that was a good Jack Black. B Chin 4005. My favorite pet in movies is Shithead in The Jerk.
Seen it.
When the TV version, it played a lot on TV, they just dubbed it stupid.
Oh, that's how I grew up
It's
knowing
stupid.
it. I only saw this on TV.
And Bernadette Peters.
Lovely.
Unique hottie.
What I really like about The Jerk is that it has these kind of sincere, nice moments. They're singing on the beach and he's playing the ukulele, and that's very romantic.
Yeah.
And there's nothing funny about it. Except I think at some point she pulls out a saxophone.
No, a trumpet. The cat juggling scene, that was cut from television. That one is pretty good,
When
too.
I was a kid, first of all, I didn't realize that Steve Martin was the juggler. And I thought he was actually juggling cats. I was horrified by that scene. I was like, those poor kittens. But then when they cut,
kittens too.
when they cut to the juggling, it's obvious they're dolls. I think that Steve Martin invented the idiot man-child hero. There would be no Adam Sandler without Steve Martin. There would be no Dumb and Dumber. There would be no Step Brothers. All of that comes out of The Jerk.
Well,
because there was never a character like that in movies before that movie. Robin Faulkner, 381. When I was 3 to 5 years old, I would only watch The Wizard of Oz over and over again. I think children find comfort in what they know. Seen it.
Seen it.
I watched it recently.
Did you look out for all like the munchkins hanging off the trees and all those other
They
weird
weren't
things?
really doing that.
There are a lot of urban legends going on with that, yes.
What I noticed about The Wizard of Oz, it is indelibly iconic visually in terms of American cinema and world cinema. And the way they use colors is just eye-popping. And Over the Rainbow is a beautiful song. Other than that, the movie's not very good. It doesn't have a great script. It doesn't have great acting. I know it's a classic and it's beloved, and it should be. But just in terms of like nuts and bolts movie making, I don't think it's that great.
But it is gimmicky in the sense like, man, it was all about that transition, right, to color.
Right, yeah.
And they were showing off the technology.
Sure. It's a landmark in cinema in the same way that The Jazz Singer is a landmark in cinema. But The Jazz Singer is also not a very good movie.
Stark Harshly writes this comment. I remember my first DVD. It was This Is Spinal Tap.
Seen it.
Seen it.
This was one of the first DVDs that I had, too, because they did commentary as their characters, which was... It's sort of like another movie that you get to watch. I watched this probably 3 months ago. The jokes are still funny, but they're very familiar. But what really is always striking are those songs, like how good the songs are.
Yeah.
You could just listen to those songs while you're playing basketball or washing your car, and you don't even need to think they're funny songs. They're just genuine rock and roll songs. That's the big triumph of Spinal Tap. You can kill a few hours by going to our website, welcometothebasementshow.com. All of our catalog of episodes are there. You can just watch them for hours and hours and hours, and there are PayPal donation buttons that you can click on to make a one-time or rolling monthly donation to support this show. I want to support some of our new-ish monthly donors, such as Andrew, Timothy, Bo, David, and LS. And then Johnny made a one-time donation, and he has this to say. I was wondering if you could give a birthday shout-out to my wife, Megan, December 14th. We've been fans of the show since Nanook, and hope you never stop. Thank you for 12-plus years. Happy birthday, Megan. I hope you have a great one.
Let's toast to Megan.
Yeah, cheers.
And Nanook and a North.
Dylan will be back next week for unboxing. We got some big boxes to unbox. I'm excited about that, and we hope he'll join us. Take a look at this.
His coming here made me feel wonderful. With the keys to the city right in my hand.
I think she's the killer.
No, she's definitely not the killer.